Alright, so it's that time of the month where chapter 11, or a new chapter rather, of Boruto is out, but this one is chapter 11, so we're gonna talk about it. Not gonna lie, it was Uzumaki Choden pulled the fuck up in this chapter, and I'm here for it. Except you. You're a fraud. Anyway. Himawari is challenging Jura on some Team Gohan shit, really stepping up to the fight like Gohan vs. Cell, saying, I might be a child, but I'm built different. And meanwhile, the other Uzumaki child is sitting here at Boruto, is over here recreating the scene Naruto had in early Boruto when he stopped the train. But this time, it's absolutely disrespectful given the context. But Kawaki over here, who is competing with Code for most L's in the series right now, just got hit with the "Nani? What was that?" type situation as Boruto blitzed past Kawaki and Delta to arrive on the scene and save not only Himawari but Sarada as well. Now, I will explain why Kawaki took 3 L's in this chapter alone, but before that, let's talk about Himawari, who was out here making plays. First off, she grabs Inojin's body and, as many people expect it to happen, uses Nine-Tails chakra to heal him, so that's not a dead character anymore. After seeing some shit like that, Shikadai already knew what time it was. He was like, yeah, I already know we're delegated to side character duties after that. I thought Himawari was like us, but never mind. Man really said, we just be in the way, and Jura looks at him and is like, you know what, I agree with you. That's a wise decision, I will remember you. Jura's such like a classy dude. He's really just like, you know, you stay out of my way, I respect you. And I'm there for that, you know? But anyway, Chocha really killed me this chapter too, because she at one point talks to Himawari as Himawari is like, I'll handle him alone, and she's like, well, you promised we go to that new pancake house when it opens, and Himawari is like, oh, best believe I'm gonna lock in for that IHOP. Now, of course, obviously, this is just one of those kind of tropes where they say something like that, some kind of promise, because it kind of lets them feel a little less unsettled, like, okay, they're gonna give it their all and come back home because they promised, you know? She really hits Jura with the Gohan walk of he's him, well, in this case, she's her, and really is doing the slow walk towards Jura, who is confused because he's like, I don't know what you think this is, but I'm the mate. She punches him in his gut and actually makes him stagger back a little bit. Not like seriously, but more so like she slides him backwards a little bit, and he kind of looks confused. He's bewildered, if anything. He's just looking at her like, now wait a minute. Then, as she's pushing him back, only for her to swing again with another hit that knocks him away so far he thought he left Boruto and landed in the Dragon Ball series, like no cap. Now, of course, it doesn't really faze him too much, but he starts flying back towards her only for her to begin preparing a Biju bomb with her hair, which I think is pretty sick. Jura really pumped the brakes and was like, nah, I'll just shoot back. Their attacks clash, and Shikadai and his team is far away at this point, or at least a good distance away, is really looking back from a distance like, oh hell yeah, I made the right choice here. After all that, Jura decides to lock the fuck in and say, let me try it real quick. Himawari gets humbled real fast, which I actually loved a lot about this encounter because it allowed us to see how busted she is and what her potential can really be without making the villain seem weak. Jura was more so curious about her than actually trying to end her, but I mean, it is what it is. Jump over to Sarada and Hidari, and of course he healed the damage he took from Sarada last chapter, but he does give us a valid reason for the Sarada counter situation that happened, as it's what I think I might have mentioned in my Sarada's potential video, where since he didn't have the Sharingan, he couldn't counter her counter because he doesn't fully understand how the jutsu works, which is fine because now Sarada and Hidari are about to scrap, and we're finally going to see her use the Manga. Oh, nope. He starts to play tic-tac-zap. Maybe next chapter. I also love how Hidari just glances at one of the Jonin there and just gives him the just try it look. And if I remember correctly, that same Jonin is Nishi, I think that's his name. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. But he's the one that was on guard duty that night when Kawaki kind of snuck out, and he just didn't notice a thing. Now granted, it's not his fault, but he's just been useless ever since then. Anyway, this is all fine because we have backup on the way. Kawaki and Delta are flying Air Konoha and is rushing to the scene at top speed to save Himawari. During this time, Delta really just adds to the stress of the situation and asks Kawaki, so what the hell are you gonna do? Especially since, you know, you got your ass beat already. I was like, what the hell are you gonna do? Which is honestly some bullshit because Kawaki's been getting shit on. So that's one L for him because she's already reminded him, yeah, you got your ass beat, what the hell are you gonna do? And he's looking at her like, well, I'm gonna do something. Not really an answer, bro, but alright. Meanwhile, while they're rushing to the scene, Boruto. And I mean, ain't no way this man caught the fuck up Boruto, just sped past him. Man is moving so fast, he blended into the speed lines on the panel. Now, for context, Kawaki in chapter 10 left with Delta after his encounter with Boruto to go save Himawari. Boruto, after his resident situation with Kawaki, is why he had to tap out real quick and go sit on the bench. So you would assume that's a good amount of time for Kawaki and Delta to go pull up and at least try to help in the situation. No, this man Boruto sat on the bench, had a bottle of water, and immediately was back on the court. And mind you, I don't even really watch basketball like that, but I figured these are some terms that would work. So here we go. Anyway, L number 3. You mean to tell me that Kawaki gets destroyed by these guys, can't even really land a solid hit on them? But even Konohamaru, Trash Himawari himself, had a moment against Hidari. Now, it's not like he did a solid blow or anything like that, but it was a cool moment where a character like Konohamaru, who was vastly outclassed at this point, should immediately get shit on, had a great moment of defense, which I have to give it to him. It was when he used the Rasengan on him, at least an attempt. Hidari, of course, uses the belts, get out the way. He's like, yeah, I'm not trying this shit. And as he tries to Chidori Konohamaru, which is funny because after that moment, he really, he just said earlier, oh, I realized why I can't use his attack effectively. And then uses it again. So, anyway, Konohamaru turns mid Rasengan and switches the Rasengan to a different jutsu and uses a jutsu called Rasen Wind Barrier, which is, I have to give it to him. That was pretty unique and I like it. And it prevented Hidari's attack. It kind of clashed with it, not in the sense of the clash Boruto had with him in a way earlier on, but it did knock Konohamaru back and he's not dead, so I give him props for that. But Kawaki, you can't even land a solid blow on him, but even Konohamaru has a moment. Bro, you gotta step it up at some point. But then we get to Boruto, and after that feat of speed, he not only grabs Himawari, but the Toad, one of Koji's Toads, follows up and tells him, hey, Sarada's in danger, she's at this smart. This man flying Raijin's over there and saves Sarada too. This man has been building up entrances and moments ever since the start of the series. And it's only been 11 chapters so far. Anyway guys, I just kind of want to talk about the chapter because I thought these are my thoughts going through every scene in the chapter, so I was like, let me just talk about it because I like this series. I'm into it heavily, so whatever. I do have discussion videos that'll be happening at some point of Kawaki and Himawari as well that I want to make, or at least post at some point. I've just been heavily on sparking right now, so I think mainly right now I'm just going to be covering sparking content and probably Boruto manga, and I'll probably only cover Strong Connections when the DLC or something drops from that at some point, hopefully. But other than that, that's really all I had to say for you guys, and I appreciate you guys watching the content. If you like the video, well, like the video, and YouTube is recommending you something over there on the screen, but I'm also recommending something for you at the top of the screen. So do what you will with that information. Back to the shadows I go.